Okay, LostatSea.tv. We are here with Kourtney Patterson, author of Accidental Sailor Girl, a semi-pseudo-celebrity in sailing circles, especially if you spend any time on YouTube.
Say that 5 times fast.
Like most of us do, looking at sailing videos and cruising videos and trying to get more information about other people's experiences. And she is here to answer our 6 questions. So, what happens when an adrenaline junkie marries a drama queen and they travel around the world on a catamaran? Come see the places, meet the people, and enjoy the experiences that make each destination special. And learn why traveling by boat provides more than just transportation, but a path to real adventure. And adventure builds character. Or was it characters? Either way, what is the worst that can happen? Stay tuned for more at LostatSea.tv. Arrgh. The one thing you're missing is local knowledge. And here at our St. Augustine episode, Kourtney has been sailing here for a good bit of time, you could say. And we're going to get her opinion on these 6 questions. So the first question is, if someone was to cruise here, what would be the best choice for whether they want to anchor out, they want to get a marina slip, or a mooring boat?
I would say a mooring ball is the best. It's the cheapest. And also you get a nice view of the city because you're out there on the water. Granted, you have to dinghy back and forth and, you know, get your water. But there's nice shower facilities. They've got Wi-Fi. They've got laundry. And it's an all-around nice place to just be.
Are you talking specifically about the municipal marina then for a mooring ball, or are there other mooring ball choices in St. Augustine? There
is. In St. Augustine, you've got the north side of the bridge and the south side of the bridge, which all merges to the municipal marina in St. Augustine. And then you also have Salt Run, which is the dog leg that right when the entrance of St. Augustine is. There's some mooring balls back there, and that's kind of where the lighthouse is. And that's a really pretty spot too. But you have to be a little bit careful of theft, actually. Because there's really nobody around to kind of keep an eye out for your boat. And also there's nowhere to bring your dinghy into. You can bring it into the lighthouse, or I think it's the lighthouse dock, but there's really, you have to pull it out of the water, and there's a lot to it. So
I know we did some video of the North Mooring Field, and I definitely think that if I came in and wanted to be on a mooring ball, having the view of the Castillo de San Marcos right there in the background, that would make for some pretty stunning sunsets, you know, to be able to see that over the fort.
Yeah, to be a part of the city, that's the north side of the bridge is really a nice spot. And that's good for the summertime, but during the wintertime you definitely want to go. Yeah, you definitely want to be on the south side of the Bridge Alliance during the winter because there's a lot of northeasters that come in, and then that's Pete outside. He's out there working right now.
I'm sorry, this interview is actually with Kourtney and Pete.
Yeah.
You've seen plenty of boats dragging through the bridge.
Yeah, you have to be real careful.
That sounds expensive. Okay, so definitely a mooring ball is a great option. The city marina also has a mobile pump-out boat, which can make a mooring ball much easier if you're going to be spending an amount of time here.
Or you can have a composting toilet.
Or you could have a composting toilet.
Yeah.
So, other than that, what would you think, if people were coming to cruise to St. Augustine, what are the things they can do here that they can't do anywhere else? Well, I mean, for entertainment purposes, something to see, something to do in St. Augustine.
Yeah, there's a lot of music here in town. There's a lot of music venues. There used to actually street musicians. They've stopped that. They might start it up again. Who knows? But you've got the amphitheater, which is essentially a bike ride away. And there's a lot of just really nice restaurants and places to just kind of hang out, have a cup of coffee, cup of tea, walk around. It's a really nice European feel to the town.
Speaking of restaurants, do you have a favorite? Is there some place you have to eat at if you come to St. Augustine?
Oh, there's a bunch. There's Floridian, Catch 22, Present Moment Cafe. Oh gosh, there's so many. Even if you go on the island, you got Mojo's Tacos. You've got Stir It Up, which is on the beach side, St. Augustine Beach. Oh, there's so many. I don't know. There's.
What's your favorite? If there was one Only one.
Only one. Yeah. Which one have I eaten at lately? That's a hard question.
Oh. All right, let's switch gears then. If people were bringing their boat here and they're planning on heading further south, they need to provision while they're here. What are the best places to provision a boat? If you were on a mooring ball in the North Mooring Field and you needed to provision your boat, where would you go?
Well, you can take your dinghy over to the Publix, which is right on Volano Beach, or you can even take your big boat there and dock it. A lot of people take their dinghies.
So the Publix here has a dock.
Mm-hmm. Yep, on Volano Beach.
That's a plus.
Yeah, and there's also the cruiser shuttle, which y'all met at.
Yes, we did. We did a brief interview with her as well.
That's awesome. Good. Yeah, she does a good run around of St. Augustine. Takes people everywhere to Publix, Winn-Dixie. But there's also, if you want to just walk to a grocery store, there is a place called the Stewart's Market, which is right across the Bridge of Lions on the island. Probably like the same length as the Bridge of Lions again, and it's on your right hand side. It's called the Stewart's Market. It's really good, fresh fruits, meat.
Excellent choice. So, we all know that the real definition of cruising is fixing your boat in exotic places. And I know we had to do a lot of running around. We had some fuel system problems and some black water problems. It's about the things we've been solving while we've been here. If you needed to get boat parts, or if you weren't that handy and you needed a competent mechanic, who should they call? Where should they go?
Ghostbusters. No. So you could go to Sailor's Exchange, which is great. Y'all have been there. There's that's actually a new and used boat equipment place. If they don't have it, they can order it for you at a discounted rate. Pete is actually a woodworker in town. He's a boat carpenter, so if you need any woodwork, he's a great place to go to get your woodworking done. And also Marine Oil and Supply, they will also have things. A lot of places might not.
We had to visit both those places today for my diesel fuel filter problem.
Yeah. And if you have a Yanmar, there's places called First Mate is a great spot.
First Mate Yacht Services?
Yep, if you have a Yanmar, that's a good spot. If you have any air conditioning, refrigeration, or water maker problems, Hanson Marine Services is a great spot to go and get that sort of thing done. So yeah, a lot of reputable people here in town.
We will work on getting the websites and contact information for those places listed under this video in some of the comments, so that if you're in St. Augustine and you need them, you'll be able to get a hold of them. Now, the last question, and this is kind of the climax of our 6 questions that we're going to ask, is what is the worst situation you found yourself in while cruising, and how did you solve the problem?
Well, I mentioned this in my book. We had sailed across the Atlantic, and we had some hard times with waves and things breaking and chafe. Sailed across it twice, and got to the Caribbean, and we got to Grenada. And to the north of Grenada is an island called Carriacou. In between Grenada and Carriacou is an underwater volcano called Kikum Jetty. And between these islands, the currents run very strong. So you're to keep an eye on your wind and weather. And when we were in Grenada that particular year, I think it was 2011, the trade winds, the Christmas trades, would not quit blowing. It was just nonstop, and so we had to leave at some point because we were stuck there for a while. And Norna doesn't point to windward very well. And a trip that is supposed to take 8 hours took 24 hours, and this was only 40 miles. And the boat was pounded, just white water just coming over through the hawse pipes, just a wet, wild ride, and very scary. That was the most scared I got out of 2 Atlantic crossings, was just 40 miles in between islands. So yeah, that was definitely one of the hardest ones.
What did the volcano have to do with it?
Well, for the volcano, you had to go around it. You couldn't actually cross over it. People do, but at this particular time, it was active. It was kind of, you had to avoid it. So, and that wasn't even the least of it. Once we got to Karaku, we anchored, and that was good, except it was a very rolly anchorage. And we couldn't sleep because we had been in such a rough time for 24 hours, didn't sleep during that time. So we decided we were going to pull up anchor and try to move around to the other side of the island, which we hoped would be calmer. And what ended up happening was our anchor got caught on another anchor at the bottom of, I think it was like 12 feet. Yeah, 12 feet deep. And what the problem was that our chain was taut on the bottom. And when we'd come up in waves, that taut chain was ripping our bow roller off the boat. Ugh. So what ended up happening was once the bow roller got ripped off the boat, the chain jumped off the gypsy of the windlass, and the windlass handle, bam, hit Pete in the head. So I look up, and all I'm seeing is, whenever somebody gets a head wound, it's always the worst because there's just blood everywhere, and I'm just seeing this blood, and it's windy, Minor flesh wound. It's just blowing, like just the wind is taking it away. And so I ended up calling for help. And some fishermen that lived on the island came, and they said they had a hard time going from Grenada to Karaku as well. And so they came, and Pete dove down and actually got the anchor off the bottom.
With the head wound?
With the head wound and all, man. The adrenaline.
Hardcore.
Yeah. But we got it up and everything was good. It was definitely scary. That's one of our scariest times, I think, was that.
I have experienced my previous boat had a bowsprit, and I've experienced bobbing up and down in 6-foot rollers in a relatively light boat, not a boat as heavy as this. It was a Corsair F-27 we had, and we watched our bowsprit tear off and all kinds of stuff and things like that. So yeah, it can put a lot of stress on a boat.
Yeah.
And those are situations where, okay, all this is happening, things are breaking, somebody's hurt. What do I do next? Mm-hmm. What's the first thing? Yeah, I can imagine that would have been pretty stressful, especially when it happened to me.
Not getting enough sleep.
Yeah, when it happened to me, we were in the Keys.
Yeah.
I was relatively certain I could get medical attention and everything else. Yeah. Not in Karaku, yeah.
Oh man, and I just had another thought. After all of that, and Pete getting his head hit, he couldn't go to sleep. So we had been up for 24 hours.
That's right,
and then
concussion.
Another 24 hours because of, everything that was going on. And then he couldn't fall asleep because...
He couldn't let himself fall asleep.
I kept waking him up. Yep. Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, that was... Now, you can read all about that in Accidental Sailor Girl, Kourtney's book. You can pick that book up online. Her website is papersailor.com. And you can also see all kinds of video clips about life on Norna here. Gaff-rigged cutter made of wood with copper plating, and I'll tell you, she is a sight to see. Pete has invested huge amount of time in rebuilding and restoring this boat. And I just want to say that to all our viewers out there, that if you're thinking about going cruising, Norna here is proof that it's not all about money. It can be just as easily about sweat equity, about time, about love, and about skills to put a boat together that can cross the Atlantic 3 times. Just an amazing craft. And we're going to shoot some additional B-roll. You'll get a chance to see more of Norna after the interview. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your stories. Yeah. And hopefully your viewers will get a chance to check out LostatSea.tv as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Bye.
Bye. You think he'll be interested in stopping sanding for a minute or two?
Yeah.
Let's go on board to see Norna. Fiberglass and gel coat throughout. There's almost no teeth.
These are called dead eyes. Just kind of like the turnbuckles of the mast. And then this is a larch. This wood right here is larch and white oak. And then it's also got oakum hammered in the seams with tar that's It's a very traditional boat.
I don't have to do it. So that was just one of the things that I wanted. So when you're looking at all these different models,
Thank you.
found one that
Yeah, it's what it's called as a gaff rig cutter. It's also got square sails. The yard on the top. It's kind of like a Viking sail. Hey, you're welcome to come down below too.
Okay. Look over here. It's a beautiful old boat, but not without all the modern conveniences. We've got a little bit of help on board Norna.
I love the galley.
This is actually, we built the fridge out of the foam. It's about really thick
wooden
foam.
block. Is that just wood on the outside with foam on the inside? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's actually foam and fiberglass, so as thick as this is as thick as what the fridge is. And that's just to keep it insulated. And then we doubled this as a cutting board, so this is kind of like
If God would have wanted us to have fiberglass boats, he would have made fiberglass trees.
Did you get that out of film? Yeah. Yeah, we did everything with recycled wood, so this is actually recycled oak. These are actually door casings. You can see where the nails have on the side right here. And so you put some copper nails in where any of the screw holes were. And then this is cherry. And then this is actually redwood. And heart pine, a lot of heart pine in here. So, and also the head door was made from the bottom of Chris Craft, and that's mahogany.
Did you do this?
Philippine mahogany, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. There's little carvings all over the boat. There's a little flower kind of over there. When I go back outside, I can kind of point them out. But on the rudder, there's a wave carved on the rudder, and then also the head was made out of recycled teak. And then also the composting toilet, which is really nice to have.
How do you like that one?
I love it. Yeah, composting head is great. Hey, I'm Courtney with Accidental Sailor Girl. I've also got a YouTube channel under the same name, and my book, which is available at Sailors Exchange, which these guys have offered.
And papersailor.com.
And papersailor.com.